stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have the acceptance of the September 16th Planning Board minutes. So we had the 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn public hearing. That was continued until tonight. And then we had a Starkdale farm discussion. And then regarding the site walk that we had with Starkdale. And then we had a discussion about 3186 Route 22 restaurant regarding the site walk we had for that project. And then the meeting was adjourned. All right. Motion to accept the minutes made by Member Palmer, seconded by Member Rahman. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of accepting the minutes say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that passes 4-0 with 3 absences. All right. Next on the agenda is the continuation of the public hearing for the 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn. Typically, we allow the applicant to, or the consultants for the applicant to say something and then see if any members of the planning board or consultants have anything to add. Anything you wanted to say at this time?
Nothing at this time. Just to reiterate, I'm not sure if anyone's here for 10 Mile, but the TMR Preserve Activity Barn is part of a continuation of the 10 Mile River Preserve. It's more of an accessory use where they will be doing a converting an existing agricultural structure, existing being about 10,000 square feet or so, into an activity barn. So it'll have lots of recreational activities such as a rec room. It'll have a bowling alley. It'll have just a general recreation for specifically TMR members,
Right.
so that they could rent out the space and then also have a dining room so they can prepare a dinner or a meal for their guests attending the space. Otherwise, I believe we've answered all of the boards and all of the other referral agency comments, and just looking forward to hearing any public comments and answering any questions.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further comments or questions at this time. Does any member of the planning board have any comments, questions at this time? Okay.
None here.
Attorney Polidoro?
No questions, no.
Okay. Planner Block?
Are you guys working on the lighting plan and going to resubmit that?
So for the lighting plan, I think the principal issue was the RAB fixture that we had on the eastern side of the structure that is emitting light out into the user road. So one thing I wanted to note for the planning board is that the applicant actually owns both sides of this road. They have property on either side. Obviously, we want to try to reduce light spillage into the roadway. So if the board feels comfortable with us providing a different fixture that is fully cut off and complying with dark sky criteria, we'd be more than happy to provide that if that's really the hang-up issue.
Okay. Anything further?
No. I mean, the code cites that it can't spill across the property lines, so that was kind of what we're looking for. And yeah, the main culprit was that one large fixture.
That one
so-
spot. I
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Engineer Berger?
The only question I have is, what's the status of your health department approvals?
I believe we actually got a first round of comments back from them on that.
No changes to design? and
no
the
changes.
erosion control? So are you, next round, are you preparing your erosion control estimate for submission?
We can provide that. Yep.
Since you're feeling the erosion control's done, and there won't be any changes from the health department, you might as well submit that.
Right.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any members of the planning board have any comments or questions based on our consultants' comments or questions? Okay. All right, so we'll look to continue this public hearing. I don't know if anyone has signed up. If someone could please look at the... No? No one has signed up. Okay. So, need a motion to continue the public hearing. Motion made by Member Palmer, seconded by Member Williams. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of continuing the public hearing, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay, this public hearing is continued by a vote of 4-0 with 3 absences. Any members of the public wishing to, please have a seat. Any members of the public wishing to speak at this public hearing for the 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn, please come to the podium at this time. Okay. Seeing no one approaching the podium to speak at the 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn public hearing, we can continue the public hearing, we can close the public hearing, we can close the public hearing with written comments. Any thoughts?
I think it makes sense to close it.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay. So a motion to close the public hearing made by Member Roman, seconded by Member Williams. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, this public hearing is now closed. All right. So let's continue. There is documentation that has been prepared.
Right, so the board, before you have a Part 2 EAF for your consideration, as well as a resolution to approve the project. At this point, the resolution is a little incomplete because we don't have a bond estimate for the ESC permit. So if
Okay.
you want to move forward, I would suggest we just cut the ESC permit at this time. They can come back for it another time.
Okay.
The resolution would also be conditioned on them submitting the updated lighting plan that complies with your zoning law. And there was specific language that says, you know, bug rating close to 0 with fully shielded fixtures.
Right.
So, being those are the only 2 issues remaining. So we can start working through seeker, and then you can decide if you want to move forward with the approvals tonight.
Okay.
So Part 2 would be the first thing to bring up.
Okay, so full environmental assessment form for the TMRP activity barn. This is Part 2, identification of potential project impacts. Impact on land, yes, but no, no or a small impact may occur. So no impact or a small impact may occur. Impact on geological features, no. Impacts on surface water, no. Impact on groundwater, yes, but again, no impact or small impact may occur. Impact on flooding, no. Impact on air, no. Impact on plants and animals, no. Impact on agricultural resources, yes, but that would be no impact or a small impact that may occur. Impact on aesthetic resources, no. Impact on historical or archaeological resources, no. Impact on open space and recreation, no. Impact on critical environmental areas, no. Impact on transportation, no. Impact on energy, yes, but again, no impact or small impact may occur. Impact on noise, odor, and light, yes, but that would be a no impact or a small impact may occur. Impact on human health, no. And then consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans, so no. And consistency with community character, the proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character, no. I'm just reading those out because it's really a double negative to make it a positive, so. Okay, so members of the planning board, is there any one of these 18 items that you would like to look at further as we read through them?
None here.
No? Okay. All right.
So then,
Sorry,
ACARF has
Paulino?
prepared a draft negative declaration
Okay.
form.
That is here.
It basically just recites the criteria for significance and finds that it doesn't meet the criteria.
Right. So this is an unlisted action under SECRA and a conditioned negative declaration, no. Okay. And then the reason supporting this determination. And again, as Attorney Polidoro just stated, just essentially restating everything from the previous form. So does anybody have any comments or questions on that? You look at whatever you want. No? No? Or Williams? No? Okay. All right.
So next, we have a resolution. But if we're going to take the erosion sediment control permit, we're just going to have to amend
Right.
it on the fly a little bit.
Okay. Anything on part 3?
No, that just refers to the document.
to the
you just
document,
pulled
right.
open.
All right. So the part that would need to be,
So the title should take ESC permit out.
okay. And we'll just need to revisit that
At some point.
soon.
Is it possible that maybe we can ask the applicant if he has a bond value to present to the board tonight, and I'd be more than willing to consider it and recommend to the board?
We can ask him that. You've been
Well-
asked.
Yeah, right now, I do not have the bond estimate prepared. Sorry, Joe. But again, we'd be okay with that being a condition of approval.
Well, it wouldn't be removed from the, you'd have to come back with a separate approval.
With a separate application?
No, just a separate, with the bond, and come back for another meeting,
Okay.
unless you could present one.
Yeah, I can't present one right now. I wish I could. My magician skills need polishing.
Todd, make the offer.
Engineer Berger,
Joe.
would you recommend a time frame by which they come back with this? I
Before
mean,
the,
as soon as possible.
as soon as possible, I would suggest.
Sure.
So, because you need that to start work.
Yeah.
Right.
We need the health department approval anyways for that as well.
True.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that'll have to happen at some near future date before you can actually begin. So, okay, removed it from the title. Is there a
And then if you scroll
whereas that
to,
needs to be
scroll to the bottom.
the bottom of the whereases?
No, keep going,
Just keep
therefore
going,
be it
okay.
resolves. It's I think the last two paragraphs have to do with there we go.
These two?
Yeah, those two, the ESC permit. And the next one as well.
Okay.
Looks like just above where you were deleting, I think we lost some formatting with that 1 and 2.
Let's
Oh.
see. Oh, it just,
Two tabbed in.
thank you. Still seems a little different. That's okay. All right. Okay. Anything further we need to consider here?
Yeah. Architecture. Nope, we're good.
Okay.
I spelled wrong, but I'll fix it.
Okay. All right, I'll read the resolution. There'll be a motion second. Just, this doesn't come up too often, but just to be clear, so the planning board is a seven-member body, so majority is always 4, even when there's just 4 of us, so we all have to agree, just to be clear. Resolution to grant special permit, site plan, and architectural review board approval. Whereas the applicant, 10 Mile River Farm LLC, has submitted an application for site plan, special use permit, and architectural review board approval to convert an existing barn complex into an quote-unquote activity barn, including indoor and outdoor amenities. a 21-space gravel parking lot, and an overnight guest unit, collectively known as the project, for periodic use by club members of the nearby 10 Mile River Preserve. The project is proposed west adjacent to Sand Hill Road.
That was an Erin statement.
Okay. It's fine. On the eastern extent of an approximately 156.3 acre parcel identified as 280-290 Sand Hill Road, tax lot number 7162-00-048775, known as the property. And whereas the property is located in the RU district as well as the floodplain and aquifer overlay districts, and whereas a recreational business is a permitted use in the RU district subject to site plan and special use and special permit approval, whereas the project is depicted on a plan entitled 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn prepared by Rennie Engineering Design, PLLC, sheets 0 through 5, dated July 17, 2024, last revised September 18, 2024, and architectural plans entitled Proposed External Elevations prepared by Gwen Mulcahy, RA, sheets A300 and A301, dated October 10, 2023, collectively known as the site plan set. And whereas the applicant has submitted a full environmental assessment form, or EAF, dated August 7, 2024, pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, also known as SECRA, and whereas pursuant to Section 37-4 of the Town Code, all applications for a special permit or site plan approval shall be referred to the Architectural Review Board for review and approval, and whereas on August 26, 2024, the Planning Board classified the project as an unlisted action under SECRA and declared its intent to serve as lead agency in a coordinated review of the project to which no other agency objected. And whereas the property is located within Dutchess County Agricultural District 21 and an agricultural data statement was provided, and whereas on August 26, 2024, the project was referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development pursuant to Section 239-M of the General Municipal Law, which responded on September 11, 2024, that it was a matter of local concern with comments, and whereas a letter dated September 9, 2024, the J.H. Ketchum Host Company, Inc., provided comments on the project, and whereas the Planning Board has reviewed the FEAF and application materials, completed parts 2 and 3 of the FEAF, thoroughly analyzed the information regarding relevant areas of environmental concern, both submitted by the applicant and gathered by the board through its consultants and the public, and considered the criteria contained in 6 NYCRR, Section 617.7. And whereas the applicant has demonstrated compliance with the special permit standards for recreational business in Section 145-52.1 of the zoning law, and whereas a duly noticed public hearing was opened on September 16, 2024, and closed on October 7, 2024, during which all those who wished to speak were heard. Now therefore be it resolved that the Planning Board hereby adopts a negative declaration for the project, determining that the project as proposed will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Be it further resolved that the Planning Board makes the following findings pursuant to Section 145-63 of the Town Code. 1. The project complies with all land use district, overlay district, and additional recreational business provisions, as well as the underlying rural district RU zoning district requirements of the zoning law and other local laws and regulations, and will be consistent with the purposes of the zoning law in the applicable zoning districts. Two, the project is consistent with the values in the town's comprehensive plan update, or CPU. The reuse of existing facilities and structures and maintenance of approximately plus or minus 155 acres of undisturbed land is consistent with the town's goals of enhancing the town's existing rural character. 3, the project will not result in excessive off-premises noise, dust, odors, solid waste, or glare, or create any public or private nuisances. 4, the project will not cause significant traffic congestion, impair pedestrian safety, or overload existing roads, considering their current width, surfacing and condition, and any improvements proposed to be made to them by the applicant. 5, the project will be accessible to fire, police, and other emergency vehicles. The proposed reconfiguration of building egresses and changes in access to the property will bring the structure up to the New York State Building Code standards and make the structure more accessible to emergency vehicles. 6, the project will not overload any public water, drainage, or sewer system or any other municipal facility. The property will be served by private water and wastewater systems and will not affect public utilities. There will be no new storm water impacts, as drainage will be managed on site and will be directed to existing stormwater conveyance areas. 7, the project is greater than 150 feet from the closest pond and greater than 400 feet away from the nearest federal wetland located on the property, and as such, the project will have not, will not result in negative impacts on the identified wetland areas, any watercourse, natural resource, or ecosystem, and will not endanger the water quality of an aquifer. 8, the project will be suitable for the property on which it is proposed, considering the property's size, location, topography, vegetation, soils, natural habitat, and hydrology, and its ability to be buffered or screened from neighboring properties and public roads. 9, the project will be subject to such conditions on operation, design, and layout of structures, and will be buffered and screened from the adjacent residence, which is located greater than 350 feet from the property, to ensure compatibility with surrounding uses and to protect the natural, historic, and scenic resources of the town. 10, the project, excuse me. 10, the project is not located within the Dover Plains hamlet, and as such will have no impact on its development. 11, the project does not contain nor eliminate a residential component and will not adversely affect the availability of affordable housing in the town. 12, the project has been designed to comply with applicable site plan criteria. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby grants special permit site plan and architectural review board approvals to the project as depicted on the site plan set, and authorizes the planning board chair to sign the site plan set after compliance with the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees and escrow. 2, Department of Health approval of methods of water supply and sewage disposal. 3, submission of a lighting plan that meets the requirements of zoning code section 145-40L, has outdoor fixtures with a color temperature no higher than 3000 K, has backlit, uplit, and glare or bug ratings as close to 000 as practicable, and is satisfactory to the town and its consultants. Should I add in 4, the approval of an erosion sediment control plan?
Yes.
Okay. Approval by the town of Dover Planning Board of an erosion and sediment control
Permit.
plan, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Permit.
Permit, thank you.
Right.
Plan, permit. That seems good? Okay. Number 4, approval by the Town of Dover Planning Board of an erosion sediment control permit. Be it further resolved that the following shall be ongoing conditions of the special use permit. 1, all events shall be limited to 60 or fewer guests. 2, the applicant must regularly maintain the arborvitae hedge proposed south of the barn along Sand Hill Road to a height under 6 feet to maintain compliance with section 145-30G of the zoning code. Okay, so before I ask for first and a second, does anybody see anything else that needs to be adjusted here? We made those adjustments along the way, so resolution to grant special permit site plan and an architectural review board approval. This resolution is being offered by
Member Williams.
Member Williams, seconded by
Second.
Member Roman. All right. Discussion. Okay, seeing no discussion. Resolution to grant special permit, site plan, and architectural review board approval for 10 Mile River Preserve Activity Barn. Secretary, please call the roll.
Member Williams?
Aye.
Member Roman?
Aye.
Member Palmer?
Aye.
Chairman Courtine?
Aye. This resolution is adopted 4-0 with 3 absences. Congratulations
Awesome.
to you and your client.
Thank you very much, everyone. Very much appreciate it.
So we should hope to see you back relatively soon to take care of the erosion sediment control
Yep.
issue. And
Yes, sir.
great. All right, let me make sure I save that. It's now saved.
Save it. Please save it.
I did. All right, and let's see, we don't need that. 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 Okay. So, next on our old business, we have Sherman Hill Road, two-family. Let's see. We already went over the highway superintendent's letter at the last meeting, I believe, right?
Should be the last meeting.
I'm saying that we already went over that, okay. And,
Just go back.
that was in this folder.
Oh,
so
it is.
That was the only thing in that folder, so just looking to see what else, we'll get into it here, so. All right. Bring up the,
Right, one of the big comments from the highway super was the timing of paving of that driveway apron.
right,
And so, the resolution that you have before you tonight has a condition that requires them to put a note on the plans indicating that they're gonna do that, after the 6th permit or 80%.
I just wanted to note that the paving for the driveway is actually indicated on the erosion sediment control and site plans, outlining that a rough entrance is going to be in first, clearing, and that once the lot build-out is complete, then it's the final top coat. So I just wanted to note that.
Well, right, I think that's part of the issue, is we don't wanna wait till the last house is built to put the final top coat on.
To 80%?
well, right,
I'll
that,
hold it
yeah,
for
so,
now.
right, because it was, you're building 8 structures, so 6 structures is 75%, so I think it was before the last,
So,
how we were discussing it, how it would be before the last 2 structures are built, that,
yeah,
do you want,
No, that was correct.
right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously, you wouldn't want to put it down at the beginning, because then you're going to mess it up with all the construction vehicles, but we want you to build everything and then be like, oh yeah, sorry, we didn't get to it, and then you just walk away.
Nope,
so.
totally makes
sold
sense.
the last lot, can't hold us to it.
Right. So I think it's after 6,
It's before the last 2 COs.
yeah, so yeah, after 6 or before the last 2 structures are built.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the highway department. Then there was also some emails today regarding the recreation fees.
Correct. So, I was confirming that rec fees had originally been paid on these lots when they were created, and Marilyn confirmed
Yeah.
that a rec fee was originally paid on 19 lots. So, when we're calculating the units,
So there's 4 additional units now with the 4 buildings.
more than
Well,
4, there's
well, then,
6.
wait. There's
There's
12
12
additional,
additional
there's 12
units.
additional units, right.
So
yes.
they get credit for the 4 lots they've
Right,
already
sure.
paid in.
Yeah,
So
because, right,
it's-
16 units.
Minus
You already paid
12.
for 4, right, 12 units, okay.
So it was 12 times the rec fee. So Marilyn and I were just confirming what the fee was.
Yeah.
So it's now been entered into the resolution.
Okay, all right. So there's that. All right, well, we started kind of get a little ahead of ourselves. Why don't you go first? We'll see if we have any questions. I know Engineer Berger has a memo here, and we'll see what else the consultants might have to say, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'll give the quick spiel real quick and
Yeah.
go through the edits that we made. So again, this is a Sherman Hill 2-family development. There are 8 2-family structures going in, 2 per each existing lot, so there's 4 lots total. So as we indicated, 8 structures for a total of 16 dwelling units. Initially, the plan called for 16 dwelling units, 16 bedrooms. We've expanded that to 32 bedrooms and have sized the septic system appropriately for that size. Part of our edits included addressing some of the fire department comments, the highway department comments, which included providing sight lines for the plan, providing more of an entrance improvement plan that handled that, providing additional light posts for the parking areas, which are now indicated on the plan, providing a SWIP for the over acre of disturbance and stormwater mitigation measures for that, which is now on a separate stormwater plan and stormwater detail sheet. We were to revise the EAF and the narrative to indicate the 2 bedrooms per dwelling unit, which was provided. To provide posted signs for the property boundaries to indicate where the DEC land and the applicant's parcels end, which we are providing. To allot space for the potential pump station pending the health department's comments, which is now outlined on the details or the grading and utilities plan. To change the erosion control plan to be more of a hybrid plan, indicating a site plan and erosion control plan per each lot, which we've now provided. And I believe that's pretty much it for major modifications made to the plan. One thing I did want to note is that we are now widening the road per the fire department's comments to be a uniform 20 feet. So again, that's just proper fire ingress, egress to allow for adequate safety and access to the building. And just to also note that we did reconfigure the parking lots. I guess this wasn't last submission, but a submission ago, so that a fire vehicle could turn into there and have access and have enough space on either side to fight fire and provide emergency services.
Right, that a vehicle could pull right into the
Correct.
middle of the parking lot.
Yep, and that's what that box is indicating in 2 of the 4 parking areas.
Okay. And we're all set with the access, the drive access easement for this
So
parcel?
it's identified that they need to provide one?
Right.
Yeah, and we have one in the works. We just wanted to make sure final comments and figured that would be a condition of approval.
Right, because the way it's subdivided is that this parcel owns the road,
It's a driveway.
the driveway, thank you. But, right, the part of the driveway will need to go onto this parcel, which was already the case, but obviously more so with the fire department comments.
Correct.
I guess I said road because given the number of units on this, it'll need to be, Dutchess County 911 would require it to be a named road, not just merely be a driveway.
Correct.
It'd still be private, but it would need to be named because, which of these, units is the ambulance, the fire truck going to. You're going to this road off of Sherman Hill Road, which is, so yeah, it'll need a name, which the town board handles that.
The town board approves the name.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I guess, think of what you want to name the road. They decide, but, yeah. Okay. Was there anything further you wanted to add?
I believe that's pretty much it, but I'm happy to answer any of the board's questions.
Okay.
I
Member
have
Williams?
nothing.
Member Palmer? Nothing. Roman? Okay. I just want to be, make it just clear here. So, all the sewage disposal systems are now outside the floodplain. I know that was an issue at some point. And also on the, going from 16 bedrooms to 32 bedrooms, I mean, the original configuration basically had some kind of den or something
Study
that easily
area.
could, or a study that easily could have been a bedroom. So I think you're really just being honest about it, that it could have
It
been.
was kind of always the intent to eventually
Sure.
a 2-bedroom, but we wanted to make sure we got to a certain point before we employed them to start re-engineering the septic. This was shot down early on.
Sure.
There's a whole lot of wasted resources.
But again, I mean, right, anybody who rented it could be like, well, we'll just put a bed in this den and now it's a bedroom. I mean,
Yeah, true.
Chairman Courtine, when I was going over the previous 1993 approval of this, I think that road was named.
oh, okay.
They did have a name on it. I don't know if the town approved it, but it was,
Right.
I'm pretty sure there was a name for it.
You're not aware of it having a name? Okay.
I'll check back.
I don't remember seeing a sign when I was,
Name it
Me
Driveway
neither.
Road.
yeah, that would be confusing. Okay, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'll check
maybe if you
this
find
out.
that, I guess it's not like it has to be that, but.
Yeah, I can go back on the Laserfish.
All right, let me just see. And the updated floor plan now does say bedroom, because I think before it said den or study. So we'll get to Engineer Berger in a second here. All right, I don't have anything further at this time. Engineer Berger, you had this memo, so if you want to discuss it at all?
Yeah, basically, it's just reviewing the bond and agreeing with the bond as submitted and mentioning the notes about the approvals being on the map, which is already in your resolution. So, other than that, the plans are acceptable to me.
Okay. All right, the road being 20 feet. Okay. All right. Anything further, Engineer Berger?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Planner Block?
There was just a couple of things to clean up on the site plan when you resubmit. Like one of the sewage systems still says it's for a 4-bedroom.
Yeah, I saw the basic, just clerical and drafting error on that.
Just little things. And then for ease of use, we're asking that a bunch of notes be put on the cover page for enforcement when our people are out in the field and checking this stuff. But other than that, the lighting was addressed to AKRF's satisfaction. I will note it's not dark sky compliant and the lighting isn't shielded downward, but we don't think there's going to be any glare issues for adjoining properties because they're so far away.
Right.
So it looks
Right.
good to go.
And my recollection of our discussion was that the lights were for the safety of people parking and, you know, they're all rental units. You may not necessarily know your neighbors.
Yeah, so parking will provide lighting will
Lighting.
provide safety in the parking lot.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yep, that was taken care of. All looks good.
Just as we're looking at this now, I don't remember why is this one like seemingly 2 or 3 times bigger than all the other ones?
It has weird soils.
It's the soil. Okay.
Yeah, it's a perk test.
I just
on
don't
that.
remember that really coming up before. That it just seems so obviously bigger than every other one. So I was just
Yeah, no, that's
Wanna make
strictly
sure
because of the
we
perk test we had throughout the.
okay.
Yep.
So you need to make it bigger just because of the composition of the.
Yeah,
soil.
because I guess the effluent would take longer to be absorbed by the ground, so we
Okay.
need longer chambers to give it more surface area to do so.
Engineer Berger,
That's correct.
okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
It's actually treated, not
Yeah.
absorbed, but close enough.
Thank you.
Close enough.
All right. You got a 9 out of 10 from.
You just don't want the
Engineer
sewage
Joe
to go
Berger.
in the
That's
ground.
why he has P after.
You want it
I only have
treated.
AICPs.
For the record, we want to say it's being treated.
Treated.
For next time. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Nothing further? Okay, thank you. Attorney Polidoro?
So we have prepared tonight parts 2, 3, and a resolution. The resolution does have a lot of conditions. I had a question for Corey Block about one of the conditions. There was some editing going on, but it's a condition now that they install the boundary marker signage. Does that have to be done before signature? Because that's how it's drafted.
No, that wouldn't need to be before signature. I would think before CO.
Yeah, I would think maybe before you get a CO on the first structure, or at some point, some reasonable point. I mean, it wouldn't make sense, if I could sign this tomorrow, that you'd have to put a sign out there next week or something. Like,
Well, because right now it's included as a condition prior to signature.
okay, so
Before CO is issued.
So we can.
we'll edit that, okay.
Yeah, we can edit that.
All right.
But everything else is, the conditions that Joe suggested be moved. Some language about, ongoing maintenance of the intersection where the driveway road meets the Sherman Hill Road.
Okay.
So that's going to be maintained. We're going to make Lot 15 responsible for the clearing of the vegetation. We have a.
So there's no, what do you call it, like a driveway agreement, or what is a?
So what's weird, what's unusual here is that there's no recorded easement agreement. There's some notes on the subdivision plat that say, Lot 15 will be in charge of things and everyone else will chip in. So
That sounds nice.
it's my recommendation as they go through the process that they have a more robust agreement because, they're,
Chip in could be $5.
no, there's a percentage, but there's drainage swells now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
attorney's addressing that with the easement and the whole new driveway.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
all-
so-
It's all gotta be one, you might as well do it all together.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
That's better that
That
way.
will be cleaned up and done
All
properly.
right. I mean, Attorney Polidoro, is that of our legal concern, or is that their
So
problem?
because the lots already exist,
Yeah,
we didn't require it.
sure.
Because it was an existing condition, but I'll be reviewing the easement over the corner, so if it's all together, I'll take a look.
Right, okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's really the purview of the planning board, whatever financial situation they want to set up amongst themselves, but,
Yeah, you always want to make sure there's language that requires everyone to maintain it for emergency
Right,
egress
right.
and all conditions.
yeah.
That there's a mechanism to resolve disputes. But good, I'm
we
glad
are.
you're working on it.
Yeah, you're working on it, okay.
Yeah, no, it's,
Right.
I know it has that language in it.
Right, because again, like, obviously, you're building all this with some partners, but 30 years from now, 4 different entities could own these 4 different lots, and,
Right,
you know,
they said-
I guess that's the concern of the planning board, is what happens now, but also 20, 50 years from now.
No, agreed, my
Yeah,
attorney, a good friend of mine, she made it.
that's smart, that was good, okay. All right, so, well, I mean, we can,
Start with part 2.
yeah, we can change the resolution when we get to
Yeah.
that piece of it, so, all right. All right, just, any members of the planning board have any other comments or questions based on our applicants? Okay, thank you. All right, full environmental assessment form for Sherman Hill 2-family special permit, part 2, identification of potential project impacts. Again, just, you know, if anything, for members of the planning board, anything strikes you as odd, just stop me and we'll discuss whatever it is. So impact on land, yes, but there'll be no or small impact that may occur. Impact on geological features, no. Impact on surface water, no. Impacts on groundwater, yes, but that these will be no or small impact that may occur. Impacts on flooding, yes, but that these will be no impact or maybe a small impact. Impacts on air, no. Impacts on plants and animals, yes, but that the impacts will be small or no impacts. Impacts on agricultural resources, no. Impacts on aesthetic resources, no. Impacts on historic and archaeological resources, yes, but these will be no or small impact that may occur. Impact on open space and recreation, no. Impact on critical environmental areas, no. Impact on transportation, no. Impact on energy, yes, but these will be no or small impact that may occur. Impact on noise, odor, and light, yes, but these will be, again, no or small impact that may occur. Impact on human health, no. Consistency with community plans, the proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans, no. And consistency with community character, the proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character, no. All right, any members of the planning board have any comments, questions about any of the 18 potential impacts or consistency with the community?
No comment.
No. Okay. All right, so then part 3 just, again, refers to the
Other document.
other document.
Yep, the neg deck.
And then, so then we have the negative declaration for SECRA here. Again, it's TMR, no, wait, this is the wrong one. Go back to... Okay, so the negative declaration for Sherman Hill 2-family special permit. So we got an unlisted action and condition negative declaration, no. Then a description of the action. Okay, location, the reasons supporting this determination, again, as was just in the part 2. Any comments, questions about this negative declaration? Okay. All right. So then, all right, so we have the resolution to grant special use permit, site plan, and erosion and sediment control permit approval for Shimon Hill Road, two-family. All right. Why don't we look at the edits maybe before we actually go line by line here?
Okay, so let's start with the conditions. So the first highlight can be unhighlighted because that's now been the confirmed fee.
Right. So again, 16 units minus 4 is 12. 12 times 4,000, 48,000. Okay. No color.
And then we can keep going down. Is that not right?
Is it 4,000? Wait.
4,000.
3,500 is for like a subdivision.
Hold
Wait, look
on,
up.
I have your fee schedule. Pull it
Yeah.
up. Fee schedule. So the 2023 Town of Dover fee schedule, Marilyn, I don't I have 2023 available right now, and it's planning board, site plan. For subdivisions, it's 3,500 and 5,000, depending on the number of lots.
I got it here.
But for site plans, it's 4,000 per unit.
Where would we find that on the
If you
fees?
go to I'm on page 6. Go down to the next page. So the first part on this page is subdivisions. and then-
Subdivision. Okay.
Yeah, go
Recreation
down.
fee in lieu of land for site plan and special use permit. Okay. 4,000. Good. Okay.
I mean, should I check the math again? 4,000 times 12?
48,000.
Okay.
It's another 48,000.
You could just rely on
Just
D
drop
as
in
the
a bucket.
calculator for
No
that.
big deal.
I mean, I thought I had it right.
I made the same mistake too.
I mean, other towns have-
500, and then I'm like, I'm Route 22.
Oh,
Because it was a subdivision.
No, I thought it was 35, and it was 4,000 like you asked for. Like I did the thing.
Oh.
That's right.
So again, this is the Town of Dover 2024 fee schedule. So we're all on the same page here. And if you go down to page 6, application fee for site plan and special permit approval. The recreation fee in lieu of land for site plan or special permit fee per unit, $4,000. Okay. What was it? It was, according to their emails, it was $900 back in the 90s.
2004.
Built back then, I guess. Right. So, all right, back to the resolution. Okay, so that's unhighlighted now because it is 48,000.
so if we keep scrolling down. For condition 6. Condition 7. Instead of
7?
making it condition 7, it should say, be it further resolved.
So here?
Yeah.
Okay. Be it further resolved that the...
That prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy,
prior to submission of,
issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the first
to issuance,
building, any building on any lot.
issuance. Help me out
Be a
here.
condition for each lot as it gets its CO that those
Okay.
be up, I
Insurance
think.
issuance, okay.
Okay, prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy for each building on each lot.
Lot.
Comma, the applicants, I guess applicant in this case, I don't know, shall demonstrate, because it's individual, right? Applicant shall demonstrate that boundary markers have been installed as depicted on sheet 6 of the site plan set.
Boundary with an A.
Thank you.
You want applicable boundary markers, not all of them?
As
Sure,
depicted
applicable.
on, what was it?
On sheet 6 of the site plan set.
Sheet 6 of the site. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I
just-
think the sheet 6 already has all that language on it, right, Corey? Yes,
Yep.
we can just delete.
So then just delete this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need the language about New York State, DECO, and Barcel, and Route 22.
That's on the plans.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
okay.
fine.
Okay, that's good.
Occupancy for each building.
And so, just so everyone is aware, the erosion and sediment control permit is a little bit different on this project. We're actually doing individual ESC permits. We're doing
Per
5
lot.
of them,
Oh, and the
per
entrance.
lot and for the entrance. And
Right.
so I tried to tie, because the entrance is so little, I tied it to issuance of the certificate of compliance for the last lot, so that we make sure that the entrance actually gets done. In the next paragraph, you'll see that it says before the last permit for lot 14, 15, 16, or 17, whichever is last, is closed, the town engineer shall confirm that the ESC permit for the
Okay.
entrance has been completed. So, again, just trying to make sure no one walks away.
Mhm. All right, let's go through this, and then we'll discuss it further if necessary. Resolution to grant special use permit site plan and erosion sediment control permit approval, Sherman Hill Road two-family, whereas the applicants, MCC Holdings LLC, Fresh Build LLC, and Hildebrand Real Estate LLC have submitted an application for a special use permit site plan approval and erosion sediment control permit to construct 8 two-family residential structures encompassing a total of 16,320 square feet on 4 existing lots covering 8.6 acres, collectively known as the project, located on Sherman Hill Road, Dover, New York, 12522, and known as tax parcel numbers 132-6000-00-664533, 132-600-7062-00-660-512, 132-600-7062-00-682496, and 132-600-7062-00-658497. Within the RU zoning district and the floodplain, stream corridor, and aquifer overlay districts, collectively known as the project site or site. And whereas a two-family dwelling is a permitted use in the RU zoning district subject to the site plan and special use permit approval, and whereas the development of the 4 lots constituting the project site is being considered as a single project, and whereas pursuant to section 145-12B, a lot may contain more than one principal residential structure and accessory apartment provided that the lot has sufficient acreage to comply with the applicable density requirements, and whereas the 4 lots constituting the project site were created as part of the River Valley Estates Flexible Subdivision, filed map 11728, on which the project site is depicted as lots 14 through 17, including a common driveway connecting to Sherman Hill Road. And whereas applicants have provided calculations indicating that the River Valley Estates Flexible Subdivision would have been entitled to 45 units, although only 20 lots were created, and is seeking to apply a portion of the remaining density to the project. And whereas the project is depicted on a plan entitled Sherman Hill Development, prepared by Renia Engineering Design, PLLC, sheets 0 through 7, dated April 17, 2024, last revised September 18, 2024, and architectural plans entitled Multifamily for MCC Holdings, prepared by D. Freeman Architect, dated October 10, 2023, collectively known as the site plan set. And whereas the applicants have submitted a full environmental assessment form, or EAF, dated April 17, 2024, last revised September 18, 2024, pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SECRA. And whereas on April 20, 2024, the planning board classified the project as an unlisted action under SECR and declared its intent to serve as the lead agency in a coordinated review of the project, to which no other agency has objected. And whereas on April 20, 2024, the project was referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development pursuant to Section 239-M of the General Municipal Law, which responded on June 18, 2024, that it was a matter of local concern with comments. And whereas pursuant to Section 145-65D, subsection 4, before the planning board may approve any site plan containing residential units, such site plan shall show, when required by the planning board, a park suitably located for playground or other recreational purposes. And whereas the planning board has reviewed the FEAF and application materials, completed parts 2 and 3 of the FEAF, thoroughly analyzed the information regarding relevant areas of environmental concern, both submitted by the applicant and gathered by the board through its consultants and the public, and considered the criteria contained in 6 NYCRR section 617.7. And whereas a duly noticed public hearing was opened on July 15, 2024, and closed on August 26, 2024, during which all those who wished to speak were heard. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby finds that a proper case exists for requiring that a park or parks be suitably located for playgrounds or other recreational purposes within the town, and that a suitable park or parks of adequate size to meet the requirement cannot be properly located on the site plan set, and in lieu thereof requires that payment to the Town of Dover Recreation Trust Fund in the amount of $48,000 be made prior to the signing of the site plan set by the planning board chair. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby adopts a negative declaration for the project, determining that the project as proposed will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Be it further resolved that the planning board makes the following findings pursuant to section 145-63 of the town code. 1, the project complies with all land use district, overlay district, and other specific requirements of the zoning law and other local laws and regulations, and will be consistent with the purposes of the zoning law and the applicable zoning districts. 2, family dwellings are a permitted use in the district, and the applicant has demonstrated that there is a sufficient density remaining in the River Valley Estates flexible subdivision to permit the project. 2, the project is consistent with the values in the town's comprehensive plan update, or CPU. Proposed action items in the CPU for housing include expanding the availability of multifamily residential structures to provide additional choice and improving rental opportunities for residents. 3, the project will not result in excessive off-premises noise, dust, odors, solid waste, or glare, or create any public or private nuisances. Exterior lighting is minimal and for safety purposes only. 4, the project will not cause significant traffic congestion, impair pedestrian safety, or overload existing roads considering their current width, servicing, and condition, and any improvements proposed to be made to them by the applicants. The project includes the clearing of vegetation at the intersection with Sherman Hill Road, which will improve sight distance for new and existing drivers. 5, the project will be accessible to fire, police, and other emergency vehicles. The project site contains an existing private drive from Sherman Hill Road, which provides access to all buildings and uses. As part of the project, all units will be fully sprinklered.
No, they're not.
They're not required to be.
2 families not required.
Okay.
That's correct. You have a firewall between it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Why?
So, as part of the project, so I'm deleting this sentence.
All units will be separated by a firewall?
Yeah.
Part of the project, all units will be
So like a townhome configuration is
separated by a firewall. The project was reviewed by J.H. Ketchum Hose Company, Inc. as part of the planning board's review. 6, the project will not overload any public water, drainage, or sewer system or any other municipal facility. The applicants have proposed individual septic disposal systems which are adequate to serve the project site, and has provided a stormwater pollution prevention plan demonstrating that there will be no increased runoff from the project. 7, the project will not materially degrade any watercourse or other natural resource or ecosystem or endanger the water quality of an aquifer. All improvements are located outside of the floodplain and the stream corridor buffer. 8, the project will be suitable for the property on which it is proposed, considering the property's size, location, topography, vegetation, soils, natural habitat, and hydrology, and its ability to be buffered or screened from neighboring properties and public roads. 9, the project will be subject to such conditions on operation, design, and layout of structures and provision of buffer areas as may be necessary to ensure compatibility with surrounding uses and to protect the natural, historic, and scenic resources of the town. 10, the project will not adversely affect the availability of affordable housing in the town. 11, the project has been designed to comply with applicable site plan criteria. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby grants special permit and site plan approval to the project as depicted on the site plan set and authorizes the planning board chair to sign the site plan set after compliance with the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees, including the recreation fee and escrow. 2, Department of Health approval of methods of water supply and sewage disposal. 3, approval by the attorney to the planning board of an easement over Lot 14 for the driveway encroachment and proof of recording the approved easement with the Dutchess County Clerk. 4, revision of the site plan set to include the installation of curb bumpers to delineate parking spaces. 5, revision of the title sheet of the site plan set, sheet 0, to include the following note under the heading Common Driveway and Site Distance Notes. The 10 feet of vegetation clearing along Sherman Hill Road, detailed on sheet 6, is to be completed by the owner of Lot 15 before construction begins, and additional improvements to the common driveway and its intersection with Sherman Hill Road, detailed on sheet 6, are to be completed when the project is 80% complete prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy for the final 2 structures. B, the owner of Lot 15 will maintain for the life of the project the proposed 10 feet of vegetation clearing proposed at the driveway entrance at Sherman Hill Road to maintain adequate sightlines. I presume the life of the project means as long as there are structures on that lot, not the life of the project being the construction of the
I think we
structures.
can take out life of project and just say.
So just maintain it.
Shall maintain, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would change will to shall.
Yes. Okay, so B, the owner of Lot 15 shall maintain the proposed 10 feet of vegetation clearing proposed at the driveway entrance at Sherman Hill Road to maintain adequate sight lines. 6, revision of its title sheet of the site plan set, sheet 0, to include the following notes currently found elsewhere in the site plan set. A, aquifer overlay district note, currently on sheet 1. B, flood hazard note, currently on sheet 1. C, stream corridor district note, currently on sheets 1 and 2. D, common driveway easement notes per FM filed map 11728A, currently on sheet 2, and common driveway shared cost notes per FM 11728A, currently on sheet 2. Be it further resolved that prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy for each building on each lot, the applicants shall demonstrate that boundary markers have been installed as depicted on sheet 6 of the site plan set. Be it further resolved that the planning board grants the applicant 5 erosion and sediment control permits for disturbance as shown on the site plan set to be issued individually for each lot and the driveway entrance, subject to the following conditions. 1, submission of $2,500 to be placed into escrow to cover the cost of site inspections for each lot by the town engineer. 2, submission of performance guarantees in the following amounts. In form, substance, and matter of execution satisfactory to the town attorney. Lot 14, $15,717.75. Lot 15, $14,834. Lot 16, $13,835.25. Lot 17, $15,457.50. And entrance, $1,372.75. Be it further resolved that before the authorized official may issue a certificate of compliance for work completed in accordance with any of the erosion sediment control permits, the planning board engineer shall provide the authorized official with a written statement indicating that all work authorized under the permit has been completed and is satisfactory. Before the last permit for lot 14, 15, 16, or 17, whichever is last, is closed, the town engineer shall confirm that the ESC permit for the driveway entrance for Sherman Hill Road has been completed as indicated by the issuance of a certificate of compliance. Okay, this resolution is being offered by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by
Second.
Member Roman. Discussion.
I had a question about the wording about the firewall. It said something about all units will have a firewall. Is that where each building has 2 units, it's one firewall between those two? Okay, the wording in there just wasn't that clear to me.
Let's see. So that there would be a firewall here, and then on the first floor there. So
Yeah.
first floor.
I think
Second
the
floor.
wording in the resolution just said something like
Let's see.
that all units will have a firewall.
Let's see.
It was in, up
Yeah, it was up more.
five.
Yeah.
Will be separated by a
All,
firewall.
you could say all attached units will be separated by a firewall.
Okay.
The
Oh,
word
that makes
attached
sense.
is it.
Thank you.
So all attached units shall be separated by a firewall.
Okay.
All right, motion to amend this resolution so that this sentence reads, as part of the project, all attached units shall be separated by a firewall. Motion made by member Roman, seconded by myself. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay, the resolution is amended. All right, anything further that any member has to bring up? I just wanted to look at one other thing. I'm just trying to figure out where it would be. Right, they didn't, okay. Okay, so, so we're very clear, originally it was talked about, it was originally in the resolution about the units being sprinkled. That is not a requirement,
No.
Engineer Berger?
Not for two-family.
In order for that to be a requirement, the town board would have to make that a requirement?
It's more of a fire code.
Okay. But I mean, the town board would need to accept that as part of the fire code.
No, town board wouldn't have to. If the fire code was amended to it, we'd have to be part of the building.
Okay, so the New York State Fire Code
Yeah, which is.
does
New
not
York State building
state
code, yeah.
that multifamily dwellings have to be sprinkled.
They don't have to if they have a firewall. Multifamily do not need to be if they have firewalls.
Okay. And you're saying it's
Three dwelling units.
three dwelling units
Or more.
or more?
The
Okay.
town could adopt more restrictive.
The town could adopt,
But you'd have
right,
to get approval by the Department of.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a more than just a town board action. It's-
okay. So if they had proposed this one structure to be 4 units, rather than 2 separate units separated by a firewall,
Currently, fire
then it would
code
need to
requires
be
sprinkler.
sprinkled.
If it was one building with 4 units, it'd be sprinkled.
Right, so if the, that's what I mean, if the 2 buildings were actually one building,
Yes.
right, oh, yeah,
That's
okay,
why there are two buildings.
got it.
Is it that much of a cost difference? Because
Huge.
that's 2
Wells.
foundations.
Wells.
two-
Wells.
I mean, if it was
Oh,
town
so
water,
Tanks,
Oh,
pumps.
for the,
Yeah.
yeah,
if this was
Municipal
town water,
water
it'd be a
easy.
different issue.
right, you just have the supply going right into the building from the town, yeah, sure.
But because
25,000 a building, easily.
Wow, okay.
Easily.
All right. Okay, just wanted to kind of, I guess, make that clear for everyone. It's not like, we're just not, it's not that we're choosing not to do it. There's nothing that would require us to do it, and it's not part of the fire code, so,
Yes, correct. And there's no municipal water available to make it feasible.
understood. Okay, thank you, Engineer Berger. All right, anything further from members of the planning board regarding this amended resolution? Okay, resolution to grant special use permit, site plan, and erosion sediment control permit approval, Sherman Hill Road 2 family, as amended. Secretary, please call the roll.
Member Williams?
Aye.
Member Roman?
Aye.
Member Palmer?
Aye.
Chairman Corteen?
Aye. Resolution is adopted 4-0 with 3 absences. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, board.
Thank you. I click save. Okay. All right, next, under old business is 3186 Route 22 Restaurant. Good evening.
Good evening. So we had received some comments from the board's consultants. We had addressed a majority of them. Unfortunately, there was some minor issues that we had. We had made changes to the site plan. We had added some more impervious parking. We didn't hear back from the fire department, which we were looking to get a positive response from them.
Okay.
We also had a comment that stated a DOT permit might still be required. We had reached out to the folks at DOT, and they had confirmed, based on what we had done and the location of the entrance, that everything was okay with them. Electrical service, we do have a meter, and water, we do have a line that comes into the building. There was water in there before what you saw in the site visit. And so all that will be tested. If it's adequate, meaning that it's functional, we won't need to go back out into the road. So if not, then yes, we'll need to get permits. There was some additional, there was an issue with some of our graphics on the colored sheet. I think it was T4 front, which we have.
T4, okay.
I believe it's T4. Nope. Maybe it's T5. I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, this on the left here. The bottom near the road. So you can see it looks very blank there.
Yes, right.
That is not the intent. There's a note there. There's a 4-foot high. It just got, I don't know what happened. The color.
It's like behind it or something?
It's behind it. The layer is not. It's not right.
See something about a concrete curb?
Yeah. So there's a 4-foot high fence that's going to be along the front to screen headlights on 22, and there was a whole host of trees and plants that we've discussed in the past, and we'll make sure those come back. We do have fencing along the side as well for the northern neighbor, the home that's there. Yeah. And then on the back side, where we have there's a whole host of large trees, and those happen to kind of show. Right. There is a 6-foot fence back there. There's several homes back there, and we just feel that lights at night, whatever, are just going to be.
And cars pulling in around.
Yeah, it's just going to be a problem. So we just.
This backs up on the properties on Reamer Avenue, I believe.
Right. There's 1, 2, I think 3 homes that might be affected back there.
Okay.
So we put a bigger fence there. On the southern side, where the electrician has his shop, he has a vinyl fence.
Some kind of fence there.
There's a garage.
Yeah.
That encompasses us right to
stores materials here,
right,
from what I remember.
Where the meter, our electrical meter is. So, and then it's kind of open. So, we did propose, as I said, some more permeable parking in the back, and the discussion or the comment that there were comments that were made about the amount of coverage, and we're at 48% now. However, the building is driving this. The building is the size it is. We didn't, this is how it was built back when it was built. And the current codes, inclusive of the building code, dictate for restaurants how many people are there. Right. And we have to provide the parking. So that's why it's critical, and we lost a spot in the front to create the turning radiuses for apparatus. It's so critical. If we were to lose those spots, I mean, you could see in the back, we would be, I mean, you'd have to create a secondary line of cars and then a backup area. And I think it would just be too much on those neighbors in the back. So we tried to keep that as green as possible there. Plus, we didn't want to, kind of adversely affect the septic field. And then Right, we talked about the fence, the lighting. So we did provide shielded lighting, although, and that's on T4. So it's back one, okay, there.
Yep.
But along the, so this upper light that's here, that, yep.
You just
right
zoom in
next to the
here.
Parking lot,
Up,
this one, that little sunlight.
There?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not the catch basin, to the left of it, that one.
there, okay.
So that one does provide a higher spill rate there, just because it's intense. It is shielded, but we're going to talk to the people at RAB about toning that down. Now, I know the code talks about half a foot candle.
At the
which is
property line.
At the property line. Again, we want to make sure that that area is lit as well for parking, so we're going to look at that a little closer.
Is the, just so I guess I'm clear and everyone else is clear, is this black line half a foot candle?
No. So those are just the light spread on the lights, and you can see that they're numbered, so it tells you what it is. So
I think, yeah.
2, 3.
Can't you shield the back of the fixtures, though?
So that is shielded, but it's just the location of it.
Because of its proximity to the property line.
To the property line. And so that one light is causing us some issues. And we've had discussions with the engineers there, but they just are not understanding what we're...
I mean, it also looks like you might have an issue right here at this property line.
Well, no, because it's actually...
Saying 0.4, that's when it's...
Yeah.
0.4 is on our side.
Right.
0.1 is crossing, so, that would be okay. And actually, you can go up to 0.5, or
Right.
half a foot candle, right? So I think those are okay, and there's a huge tree there that's not shown in this lighting plan. So I think that'll be fine, plus the 4-foot fence.
Right, you might also have some issues then along 22.
So along 22, there is that 0.7 and 0.8 there.
One.
And 0.6, yes.
Some 0.5s there.
So they're going to have to tweak or kind of move those just to make it
And it also
work.
looks like over here.
Over there, you have the garage, so I don't see that as an issue. That wall.
Right.
There's a garage there, and then beyond that, he has material.
Right.
So-
And my understanding of the code is that it's, regardless of what's on the other side of the property line, it's at the property line. It's not supposed to be higher than
Right.
0.5, right?
Right.
Correct. Because that garage on the other side could go away at some point, and you would still be left with lighting, so you want to make
Right,
sure
or they
that
convert it
it's...
into something.
Understood.
Okay, so that, so the lighting plan needs a little more,
That needs
Work, I
a little,
guess.
that needs
Yeah.
a little going over, sure.
okay.
And then there were some other comments to the environmental form, and so we've made adjustments to that, and we will resubmit that shortly,
Okay,
not tonight.
okay. So let's see. Okay, so, any members of the planning board, I mean, we'll just go, Member Ramon, any comments, questions? Okay, Member Williams, Member Palmer? Okay, I don't have anything additional at this time. Just, planner block, you want to go through?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I might just flip through the comments real quick to make sure we...
Yeah, I mean,
Turn on
so this memo was submitted September 18th. Is there, hold on, I'm trying to find,
This is October 4th,
Yeah,
responses.
there's one from
Yeah,
us
let me
on
just,
October 4th.
oh, there we go, okay. Okay, yep.
So, you said, you already stated that the FEAF will have the corrections addressed, so there's that. A lot of these have been addressed, or things for Joe to look at that we'll defer to him on. The one thing that we didn't touch on is that there the existing site plan doesn't show any of the trees that are on the property, so if you could cite those and which ones are gonna stay or be removed.
Right,
That
so,
would
so if we went back to that plan and we saw the big trees in the back, I think what happened was, like I said, some of the layering, so,
Yeah.
so we did show those trees, and we do have, I'm just trying to think right now, anything that's on the, well, I believe there's one tree that's going away in the far back left corner, which is in the parking area. So, but other than that, the big mature trees along the back are staying. We're adding the fence, and we're going to give you all the caliber sizes, et cetera, on this resubmission. I just haven't gotten a measure.
And you'll fix the, whatever graphic
Yes,
issue
and all
you
that will
have
be,
there.
all your vegetation will be shown in the front as well.
Then something I wanted to ask was, it was a little unclear what type of fence you were gonna be using in these areas.
Well, yeah, so, okay, so these are the fences, and essentially it was either a 4-foot or the 6-foot, the dimension from the other side, so that's on the back of the property where the other neighbors are, so we want to kind of really shield them.
Okay, there was some other picture on, I think on this sheet, that showed like an open fencing with the vines on it. So I just wanted to,
No, I don't think so.
Clarify.
I think maybe it might have been a depiction of the trellis work, which is now attached to the building.
I think it was more for the ivy that you wanted to show how the ivy would grow up, but it was just confusing because there was an additional fence type on there, but, I can't remember. That's something that's easily fixed, so just make sure that, yeah, that it's clear on the plan.
Yep.
Because, yeah, I wanted to make sure that we were noting that the fence would not be see-through, because we
Correct.
wanted it to block the
Yes.
light, right? Okay, perfect.
100%.
Then that's really about it for our unaddressed comments. I mean, there is still the parking in the front, and, you know, is the board satisfied with the reasoning given and that there needs to be the parking in the front?
Right.
But that's up to you all. And other than that, that's it. This is part of the FEAF, but we helped kind of provide some traffic calculations. Did you see those? Do you have any questions on that?
No, I mean, I think I think there was something in there already that spoke to that.
Yeah, our traffic engineer took a look and it wasn't correct according to her. She thought that there was a different use code you should use, and some other things. So it's kind of detailed there, but it's still not an issue. You're still well under the peak trips.
Right, but I could have sworn we used 932. So I don't know if that's listed on our drawings there, but I know when we did the calculations, that's how we got the numbers.
Okay, she thought it was based off of a fast food restaurant, I think, or something like that. So as long as it matches up next time, you know, that's all that matters.
No, it was definitely a high turnover. Sit down. Okay, well.
I think
I'll
something
try-
along the lines of, too, she was saying you can't reduce the overall square footage and just use the seating area. It had to be for the entire building.
Right.
So little tweaks like that to the.
We did have a kind of a caveat for the employees separately, so we did it differently, but I understand what you're saying. It's fine.
Yep, that's it then.
Okay.
Yeah, see, there's,
Yeah, we can see it, yeah, you can see it there. Right.
we spent so much time picking
sure,
this
sure.
stuff, you know? So, okay.
So just so we're, because this, like the back part here, the trees don't, and it's there too. This is, I think this is the plan from August, right? So then, so many tabs. Yeah, so you have a different configuration of trees proposed now in the back,
Right,
but also...
'cause, yeah, those are the existing ones, so those
Right.
got incorporated into it.
Okay.
Initially, it was thought that we were just going to put new trees, and I said, you know, they have these beautiful, huge trees.
Sure.
Why would we touch
So the
them?
front should look something like this, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe not
And-
exactly
and-
that, but something close to that? Or exactly that?
No, exactly that.
Okay. I didn't make the drawing. Okay. So again, that's from the August one. This is the current one, which you're going to then update to actually show the
Yes.
vegetation. Okay. Planner block? anything?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Engineer Berger?
And you're before the health department at the current time with the submission?
So the health department is part of the applicant, the tenant applicant. So right now, we're just looking to get the site plan approval, so then we can submit. We have an application ready for the building department for their fit-out and the health department as well. But,
I don't want to stop you, but there, you won't be able to get your site plan signed until we have a Department of Health approval that matches the proposal.
okay.
You won't be
Because
able to start-
I was told that I couldn't submit anything for the tenant until this was done. So I'm getting conflicting
That
information.
might be true. It's not our concern, you know, how you allocate responsibility between the landlord and the tenant, who's responsible for what, but you can't get a site plan approval without a properly sized septic supporting the use. So you.
Oh,
won't be-
that's without question. I'm okay with that. But the health department also regulates the kitchen.
That's a different approval. Those are two different approvals.
Okay, same organization, so that's.
Yeah, but
that's
you're
what I
looking for
think about.
HD1, which would be the water in the well, or yeah, in this case, you're using water
Right.
for connection, but you still have to have a water service connection approval
Mm-hmm.
and subsurface sewer system approval under HD1 from the health department,
Okay.
which is separate from the sanitary approval for a restaurant. Those are two different approvals.
Okay.
Now, my question about that is because I see existing and proposed trees that appear to be closer than 10 feet from the septic system. And even though that's not on our control, it's certainly part of the health department. If the health department comes back and says you can't have those trees, that's going to affect your site plan submission here. I don't know of any accepted approval. You would have to go for a waiver. Again, that's the health department, not this board. But I want to advise this board that all those trees may go away for your health department approval, which would change your presentation before this board for screening.
Well, the 6-foot screening would still be along the back regardless. And the trees are mature and tall, and that was part of the reason why we went with a 6-foot-high fence as opposed to a 4-foot-high fence.
They may make you take those trees down.
If,
Yeah.
that would be a sad day, but.
That's why you should be going to the health department now, so that condition is brought forward with this site plan.
So it was my misunderstanding because I was told that I couldn't go for anything to do with the health department and/or a tenant application before I had this board's approval. I will actively seek that at this point now.
On stormwater now, I see you put the chamber on the map and you have your details for your chapter 65. I did not see, but maybe I missed it, the stormwater calculations under report.
They're there. They're on the drawings.
No, it has to, there should be a stormwater report that's issued. It says how those calculations were performed.
They're on the drawings.
Yeah, but that's not an
You're saying-
acceptable format. You have to have a pre-developed watershed, post-developed watershed, soils map, soil determination of value, infiltration, percolation tests to support them.
Okay.
And unless all those are on the plans, I didn't see them, they're typically provided in a report format. I guess you could put all of them on the drawing, but just the final calculations in the chamber is a sizing of a chamber is not a stormwater report nor stormwater evaluation, because it has to be pre-post comparison.
Right. Okay. Well, they are sized to exceed the requirements of the town. and by themselves without any soils affecting either way. So, but
The calculations just show that, but they don't show a pre-post for comparison. So the conclusion that they're sized properly is not supported by the information provided. And there's a list in the Chapter 65 of all the information you need to get a Chapter 65. It also says within the Chapter 65, if any of those things you feel are not needed, in the report you ask for a waiver, and this board has the ability to waive certain elements of that Chapter 65 if you feel they are not needed. And there's a complete list of all the things that are needed to be put together for that Chapter 65, including a bond estimate, sequence of events, things like that that are fully within the code. And again, if you feel any element within that Chapter 65 is not pertinent or not necessary, you can request a waiver from this board.
understood. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe, Mr. Berger, do you want to maybe talk with Mr. Fernandez more
Offline?
offline about?
Absolutely. I'm always available by phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know, do you have an engineer as part of the project here?
We have someone that we're working with for the septic, but I'm sure I can get him involved with this as well.
Okay.
And that's all my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Berger. Attorney Polidoro.
Sure, just the one comment I have, I know we've talked about it a few times, but I don't think we've gotten a response. The code does not allow parking in the front, so we've asked the applicant to really make the argument why he can't park over the existing septic system. So tell us that the septic system's inadequate, tell us how it's made, give us something so that the board can move forward. And I don't believe we've received anything from you yet on that.
So
other
not,
than
other
looking at other
than what we've said.
businesses.
Right.
I mean,
and
yeah.
So part of it is, it's twofold. Part of it is not uncovering that septic system as of today. I don't want to venture on it. Two, which is more important, is quality of life for those homes that are back there. Because then we'll be parking and having all this activity in the back of the site, which gives no green space between now what's going to be hopefully an active restaurant and these peaceful backyards. So the fact that there will be adequate screening for the headlights and the vegetation in the front, I think support our application, along with the fact that we have a building that's already set in size. We're not proposing this building. We didn't design it from day one. Had we, then yes, I would take that as a valid point. Say, you know what, the building needs to be smaller, and you have to have less parking, thus less of an area. But I have to accommodate, as per the state code, the amount of potential people that could be in there. So with that said, that's why we have these now 9 spots in the front.
So, there are, Engineer Berger, there are ways in which parking can be done atop a septic system, but there is the concern of if the septic system isn't designed to allow for that weight, I guess I'll just make it simple.
Correct.
It could be obviously a significant problem, I think is what
Correct.
he's getting at. So is there some kind of straightforward solution to this where they can just open it up and be like, oh yeah, it's a foot down, that can't possibly do it, or it's 10 feet down, you could obviously do it, or is there just any kind of like...
There should be a distribution box out there. You should be able to open it up and see the depth of the pipes.
We did see the distribution box when we did the
That's
site
what we
walk,
saw
right?
out
That's
there.
the concrete structure we
Way in
saw on the
back,
grass.
correct.
Engineers should be able to open it up, look at what the pipes are, even run a camera through, which is what the health department's going to require anyway.
Right.
The health
Okay.
department's going to require the investigation of the system with either a television to look at the pipes to make sure they're adequate, the sizing, the depth, and everything. So with all that information that's going to be required for the health department, the evaluation of whether that system can handle an H20 loading or not is certainly within the ability of the engineer.
So so an engineer is the person who would typically do that work
Well,
to provide the information to the health department?
Under New York State law, either an architect or an engineer is
Oh,
allowed
okay.
to do
So
that. Yes,
Mr.
an
Fernandez
architect
could do
is
that.
licensed to do that as well.
Okay.
So it's architect or
I would have a
engineer can do
SME,
it.
I'd have an engineer do it.
You'd have an
Doing
engineer
that
choice,
every
okay.
day.
I want the board to
Correct.
know that architect could do that.
Okay.
But again, I would still argue the point that there's folks that live back there.
Right.
And I wanted to not have, it's twofold, affect the septic in any way.
Sure.
And yet, the fields, and yet give us a little bit of a buffer. So, and if those trees have to go away, I mean, it's just, there's going to be nothing like mitigating any sounds or lights or anything.
I mean, the fence would mitigate the lights.
Headlights.
Headlights,
But
sure.
what about ambient light that you might see in the distance at this building?
Right.
Which, you know, the trees are like doing a lot. But,
Sure.
you know, to Mr. Berger's point that if they're too close, they're too close. And again,
Right.
it's drawn there based on information we got from the town.
Sure.
It may not be correct. That still is yet to be determined, so.
I'm sorry, this, based on what information from the town?
From when it was, I guess, initially built.
Oh.
Not, he didn't, Mr. Berger didn't give me.
Yeah, I didn't know
It
what
was
you
in
mean by
in
the
the
town.
records, in the records.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant, sorry.
Okay, oh, that's fine. Okay, so,
So,
I mean, another thing that just so you're aware of this, Fernando, I mean, we're, you know, at some point, I don't know if it's tonight, I don't know if it's the next meeting, we would refer this to Dutchess County Planning, and they usually do a pretty good job of looking at our own code, and then they might come back and say, hey, this is a matter of local concern, but a comment is, your zoning doesn't allow for these parking spots. So then it potentially puts us in a little bit of a jam, right?
Yeah, I can appreciate the comment about screening in the back, but
Sure.
I think that's kind of irrelevant to where parking can be located, right? Because we can add screening, we can add fencing. So, well, you know, it can be appreciated that we want to pull it away from the homes behind. That's not necessarily, the code doesn't read that way. It says like,
Right.
if you can't put them back there,
Right.
you know? So,
And there might be another issue, again, going back to the septic, if it's going to be, you
that
know,
would be the
cost
most
prohibitive.
concrete, you know, if the
Right.
septic can't hold it and it's gonna
Right.
stay as is, then that would be a concrete, you
Right.
know.
I think that's the kind of information you need to give.
Okay. You just, someone help me out here. It's, what are we looking at, 145? For the parking.
145.
Right there, loaded,
Is it
38.
Is
It
it
is
38?
38.
Off-street
Yeah.
parking and loading.
Four.
Number 4.
Yeah, 4A1.
Put that on my memo.
Why is it like, okay, so there we go. 6 is below.
So A1 says all off-street parking shall be located behind or to the side of the principal building.
Except as provided in 2-3, so, except as provided here and here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So adjoining parking areas shall be connected directly to one another or to the service road or alley, okay. So within any district, parking may be located anywhere on the site if it is screened from public roads and adjoining properties. Okay, so if they do have screening in the front and on the sides, then they could have it in the front of the building.
Right, we were talking about, when we first were talking about this, we were questioning whether some sporadic vegetation was screening.
Right,
Now that there's a 4-foot fence, you know, is that sufficient screening?
right.
Yeah.
And this is in which zone, which district? Remind me. It's not in the HC district, right?
HM.
So it's not,
HM.
number 3 is not
HM.
applicable because it's not in HC?
No.
Okay, it's in HM, okay. Okay, so if, in our estimation, that, just working backwards, that it is screened from public roads and adjoining properties, then the parking could be located anywhere the front of the building, under the building, on top of the building.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of think there was a conflict between the two provisions. They don't make a ton of sense
Right.
together. But yes, that's why we're looking for justification, because when other properties build out in the same district, we
Yeah.
want to be able to say, well, in this case,
Right.
you know, there was a hardship.
Right. I mean, there is parking in front of other commercial businesses along Route 22 across the street even from this property, but there is no screening in front of it, and that's probably why the town board at some point in the past adopted something like this, so that
It's also just
the
more.
preference would be on the side or in the back, but if you're going to properly screen it, then you could have parking in the front.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
So for instance, if one of these other commercial properties was to, do some major renovation, that had to come before the planning board, and they say, well, we already have parking in the front, we would say, okay, either you can have it in the front, or you would have to now do screening, because that is the current
Right,
code.
and then it'd
Okay.
just be a discussion of what to screen, what is adequate
Right.
screening.
And that's just to, I know we keep discussing about how other people already have it, so the point is, to make the
Right.
hamlet more walkable and everything,
Right.
right? So
Yeah, and again-
parking in front kind of deters walking sometimes. It's, that form-based code is usually you have a building further up on the street, you have walking amenities, and
Sure.
and then the parking is tucked back. So that's kind of just the intent of it. So
Right, I
that's-
mean, I
think
don't-
the
yeah.
screening could help that as well.
Right, I don't think it's not a valid argument to say, well, my neighbor has something that now is not is not within the four corners of the town code, so I'm just allowed to do whatever they've did 30 years ago. But I don't, I mean, again, I'm just reading I'm just reading it as it reads here. I don't know what other planning board members think, but I mean, I think as long as it's screened from public roads and adjoining properties, then it seems like parking in the front is fine. I mean, so as Engineer Berger said, you need to have yourself or an engineer look at the septic system. I think as part of that, because you have to do that, not for us really, but for the Department of Health, correct? So as part of that, you'd find out, well, it's a, I don't know what the right phrasing would be. It's a shallow system or it's a deep system or whatever.
Probably a 4-inch pipe. It's
Right,
probably
but
not.
so an engineer would be able to determine, like, you could definitely have parking on top of this septic system, or you could definitely not have parking on top of this septic system.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, you have to find out information anywhere to the Department of Health. It would certainly help us that you just share that information with us so that we can then make a more informed decision. Because again, the spirit of the code overall is to try and put the parking on the side and in the back. But if that's not going to work for the septic system you have, then it does seem as though we could be in the front, provided it is screened from public roads and adjoining properties. Is there anybody have anything further on that? Okay.
I have one thing.
Yes, Member Williams.
So, in reading this, it's saying that, it's not saying you have to have one or the other, it's saying that
Right.
if you so choose, you can use it with screened public roads and adjoining properties, correct?
Right. It seems as though the
He's
preference...
making that he's making that choice.
Right.
Based on what's in the
Yeah.
code.
It seems as though because, say there was no septic system, and you'd have no reason to not put the parking in the back, but maybe you want to put it in the front. The preference, as I'm reading the zoning, is we'd like you to have it on the side or in the back. But if you want to have it in the front, then there's going to be this additional, in a sense, expense for you to put up trees and bushes and fences and whatever that we then deem appropriate to screen it from public roads and adjoining properties.
Correct.
So, I mean, it could be that, the septic system is perfectly fine to have vehicles on top of it, and it might actually end up costing you and your clients less to have more parking in the back and none in the front, but, okay. I mean, you gotta give the Department of Health the information anyway, we just would like that, obviously, the same information, so
Sure.
we can make a more informed decision. Okay.
Understood.
Member Williams, anything further there?
Oh.
Okay. Member Palmer? Okay. So,
So the next steps
yeah,
in the process would be to refer this to Dutchess County Planning we have a resolution prepared, and the way that it's worded right now is that it would authorize Maryland to send it out once a revised FEAF is received, because he acknowledges he needed to make some edits.
Right.
It sounds like you have a whole new plan set coming, though. So,
Well, is it just that you have to fix your graphic
Yeah,
error?
we're gonna fix the graphics, just the layers that didn't show. And I think there was, I don't know that there was any real, I'd have to go through the comments again, but
I think if you could get the lighting fixed before you start.
the lighting, yeah, the lighting's a big thing, and
you're
because that's outside of our,
Well, in
you
the
know,
landscaping, they'll comment a lot probably about the landscaping,
And the lighting.
especially because
yeah.
it's part of the code for that parking. So
Right.
we might want to hold off and show that
Yeah.
before we refer it.
We're gonna have a resubmission shortly, well, as soon as we get the lighting updated, but our drawings are ready to resubmit, but
Okay. Do you have a time frame for the lighting? I know it's not you, it's someone
Yeah,
else. But
They're tough.
it's hard,
Okay.
you know, I just
These guys are
shake
tough.
my
I
head.
mean, it doesn't hurt to start circulation, except there's a risk if they push it back as incomplete for some reason, you're gonna have to start that 30-day clock all over again.
Right.
right.
But on the other hand, it might, might help the board to get some comments from the county earlier on.
Sure. I mean, they might just confirm the things we're discussing about the parking being here or there, lighting. Well, and so, I mean, I guess also just some realities here. Like, our next meeting is 2 weeks from now. Given the relative complexity of the project, I wouldn't expect the county would get us any information back in the next 2 weeks.
And we've already passed the deadline for submitting anything new, so.
For our board. I mean, on occasion, we'll make an exception if it's like, hey, if all you had to do was fix the graphics on the front, you could just whip that around tomorrow. We might be
Right.
like, okay, let's look at that on the 21st. But considering we're talking about also the lighting.
Yeah, and I'd like to see if I can get that engineer out there to look at the septic.
Right,
as well.
we want to just kind of have the really full picture, and that way, whatever we send to the county, we obviously are going to set a public hearing. We don't want it to be like, well, we're going to set this public hearing, but we're still waiting to hear back this and that, and then we have to continue the public hearing,
Right.
and then we're still waiting for this, so then we have to continue it again.
No, it makes sense.
Okay, so obviously, I just need a calendar. Let me just look at the agenda. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I would think the most realistic thing is, I mean, because of Election Day, we're not having a meeting November 4th. So really, the next meeting applicable to you would be November 18th, the deadline being October 30th.
We will,
So we could set a public hearing, potentially set a public hearing on November 18th for December 2nd. I don't know if we'd hear back from again, it's another 2 weeks later, so don't know if we'd hear back from the county, but almost certainly we'd hear back from them by December 16th, so maybe,
if we resubmit for the 30th for the 18th meeting, does it go directly out to the,
no, we'd have to,
you-
can we
Doesn't
do,
go to-
can we do like a,
We could
Yeah.
tonight, if you want.
Yeah.
We understand the changes that are being made. I
Right.
don't think there's going to be anything surprising. We could authorize Maryland to send it as soon as she receives it. And that will save them
Sure.
some time because of the skip meeting.
yeah,
So that they could submit it, it can go out, and then by the next meeting.
but it's provided this, and this. Like, there's at least 2 or 3 things that it's provided what you're submitting contains
Updated
this,
EAF,
this, and
your
this,
lighting
right.
plan, and
So here's what I'd like to do. Can you, Attorney Polidoro, can you just spend like a few minutes just writing out like a motion for me to read that includes the
Sure.
3 things, I think it is? And then we can just say, thank you for this evening, we'll move on to the next applicant. And then when we're done with the next applicant, we'll just come back and go through that motion. Just because it'll take her some time. We're all just going to sit here, nothing for 5 minutes, so, okay?
I could say.
You could say, but I wanted to keep the meeting moving, so. Anything further?
No.
Okay. Thank you, obviously, welcome to stay, please do stay, it'll just be a few minutes to do this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, new business, the race lot line change. Please come to the podium. welcome, if you could just,
My name's Chad Mounier. I'm applying for Cheryl Race to do her lot line change.
okay. All right. And just, you happen to be an hour, 50 minutes into the meeting because of the way, our new business just comes after all the public hearings and the old business, so it's really, the first meeting is kind of unfortunate sometimes for new business. Okay. Race lot line change, the application. Lot line change. Memo. Okay, so you're here on behalf of Cheryl Race, who is the sole owner of these two lots.
Correct.
Okay. And so you're just looking to. Okay, so just help us out here.
So we have,
Okay, so the existing lot line is this line?
correct, yes.
So this is currently lot 1, and this is currently lot 2.
The entire thing, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So the entire thing. So I'm saying, this is the existing lot line.
Yes.
So this is lot 1, and this is lot 2.
Yes.
Okay, and what you're proposing is that the line moves from here to,
Down by that
Here?
house, yes.
like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then this becomes lot 1, and then this becomes lot 2.
That is right. yes.
Okay. Just so we're all clear. Okay. And so what's the purpose for doing this? Please go ahead.
So, two things. As you can see, the existing lot line, it goes through her existing pool.
Right.
And you can see the septic field.
Is on the other lot.
Apparently is on the other lot.
Right.
So that's problem number one.
Sure.
Problem number two is she's getting older. Her husband passed. She wants to make the property more manageable for her kids. And by cutting off the rental house, which is the house there on the bottom there,
In lot 2.
on lot 2, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to cut that off, and she wants to keep all that rest of that property with the main house, which is on lot 1.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, and so something that usually gets looked at here is that whether it's becoming less conforming or more conforming to the zoning. And you could tell
I
us.
don't think it's any real change to the zone. Like, as far as it becoming more or less conforming, I don't think that's changing
Okay.
really too much.
All right.
Because she does have quite a bit of property here. I believe the zoning is 1 acre. If it has municipal water and private septics, which both houses have private septic.
Right.
And both of them are supplied by municipal water.
Right.
So yes, the requirement is an acre, but currently Lot 1 is under an acre. So it will actually be bringing Lot 1 into conformance.
Okay.
So currently, there's one unconforming lot and
Right.
one conforming, and now, after this, it's proposed that both would be conforming.
Right. What's the new acreage of lot 2?
The new
I'm not
acreage of lot
seeing-
2 is going to be in the bulk table, which is somewhere, probably on the upper right.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so proposed
Proposed.
lot 2,
1.005 acres.
yeah,
Okay. Really cutting it close there.
well, there's some margin of error there,
Sure.
a little tiny bit.
Plus or minus 0.005 acres. Okay. All right. Planner, so any members of the planning board have any comments, questions?
No.
Just so everyone, I guess so everyone is aware, this is off of North Nelly Hill Road, right? Yeah, okay. This is in some proximity to where would it be here? The Stone Church Brook or the Seven Mills Brook? Leading to the 10 Mile River?
I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is.
Yeah, okay. Oh, here's the,
The bridge.
yeah, here's the bridge with the okay. All right. Okay. Planner Block, you had a memo on this?
No, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
No variances required. The homes meet, the setback requirements and everything. So, and with the lot 1 coming into conformance, everything looks good.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Engineer Berger, anything to add?
No, the septics are shown, water lines on each property. Nothing's being proposed to new construction, so I have no problems.
Mary Polidoro?
Under seeker, this would be considered a type 2 action because you're not creating any new lots or development potential. So we have a resolution to classify it as type 2 tonight.
Okay.
And all subdivisions require a public hearing.
Right. So we'll just have a separate motion to set the public hearing? Okay. All right. Anything further? Okay. Members of the planning board, any comments or questions based on our applicants' comments, questions? Okay. All right. Resolution to classify the action, race lot line adjustment, whereas the applicant, Chad Munir, on behalf of the owner, Cheryl Race, has submitted an application for approval of a minor subdivision plat to alter the lot lines of 2 existing lots to convey 2.54 acres to lot 1, identified as 132-600-7063-15-628335, associated address of 49 Nelly Hill Road, from lot 2, identified as tax lot number 132-600-7063-15-656330, associated address 5557 Nelly Hill Road, resulting in a 3.415 acre lot 1, and a 1.005 acre lot 2, collectively known as the project. Whereas the project is depicted on a minor subdivision plat entitled Proposed Lot Line Change, prepared for Cheryl Race, Situate in the town of Dover, Dutchess County, New York, prepared by Bambi Terrell Munir, dated August 30, 2024, known as the subdivision plat. And whereas lot 1 and 2 are located within the HR zoning district, which has a minimum lot requirement of 1 acre and within the principal aquifer overlay district. And whereas lot 2 is also located within the floodplain and stream corridor overlay districts, and whereas the project will result in 2 conforming lots, eliminating the existing nonconformity of lot 1 by increasing the lot size from 0.88 acres to 3.42 acres, and by placing the pool and the septic system on the same lot as the house they serve. And whereas no new development is proposed on lot 1 or 2 as part of the project, and whereas in accordance with SECR, the planning board is required to determine the classification of the project, and whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR section 617.5C subsection 16, a lot line adjustment is a type 2 action under SECR. Now therefore be resolved that the planning board hereby classifies the project as a type 2 action under SECR. This resolution is being offered by Member Palmer, seconded by Member Roman. Discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, resolution to classify the action, race lot line adjustment. Secretary, please call the roll.
Member Williams?
Aye.
Member Roman?
Aye.
Member Palmer?
Aye.
Chairman Cortine?
Aye. The resolution is adopted 4-0 with 3 absences. I don't believe for a lot line adjustment such as this, we need to have a site walk, unless anyone strongly disagrees. Okay. So next would be a motion to set a public hearing. The next meeting is then October 21st, 2024. There's nothing additional that the applicant would have to submit, correct? I mean, there's no issues with anything.
I mean, there are minor corrections on the forms and stuff, but nothing that will change the.
Right. So just communicate with the applicant, and just communicate with our consultants to make sure those corrections are in place before the meeting on the 21st, and that should be fine. Okay, motion to set a public hearing, race lot line adjustment for October 21st, 2024, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the planning board can hear. such comments from the public. Motion made by myself, seconded by Member Roman. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay, that passes 4-0 with 3 absences. Okay, so we'll have a public hearing at the October 21st meeting. So we'll hear from members of the public. I don't know who might say what, but
Just stop by, pick up a sign.
yes, you have to put out a sign.
Put out a sign. Do I have to notify the neighbors?
That is part
I
of
do
the
that.
secretary. We'll do that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's nice to work in Dover, right?
I'm still rather new at this.
Anything further? Any other questions? you
No
have,
one
or-
had any thoughts on the pond and the streams and all that? I mean, there's kind of a complicated drainage situation going on with all that. I just,
All existing.
yeah,
You're not changing it?
not changing it.
Okay.
I mean, the line goes through the pond now. I guess they both will own the pond.
I mean,
And I don't know if you want to not swim in the swimming pool and swim in the pond, but
It's a nasty pond.
not passing judgment.
Well, it ended up like that to maintain the setbacks around that garage and the shed, and then
Mhm.
across the pond to make the 1 acre. And then we held the fence.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it seemed to make the most sense to us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you're bringing up drainage, but I don't think you need an easement because one person owns half the pond and the other person owns half the pond. So
Yeah,
the water
exactly.
just has a right to go into it.
Exactly.
But
Right.
if I'm wrong,
No, the water is going to go that way.
I concur.
Okay. Anything further that the applicant might need, other than a sign? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Corey should have given Marilyn something. You have it there? Okay. Thank you.
I rewrote it big at the bottom.
Oh, so we're just changing the resolution and going, I thought it was just going to be a separate motion.
Oh, I mean, I already had the resolution.
No, it's fine.
done, so.
That's better.
But that was to get you the rock. All right, yeah, I'm gonna get you as soon as I can. Okay, nice meeting you.
All right, so we'll see you again in 2 weeks, Mr. Munian.
Yes.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. So, there's a resolution to classify the action and refer to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, which will be amended. I guess bear with me for a couple minutes while I type or look at this. So, for 3186 Route 22 LLC, whereas the applicant 3186 Route 22 LLC has submitted an application for site plan approval, architectural review board approval, and erosion sediment control permit approval to convert an existing 3,455 square foot commercial building into a restaurant, building a new parking lot with 35 parking spaces and add associated landscaping, lighting, and stormwater infrastructure on a 0.9 acre property collectively known as the project located at 3186 Route 22, Dover Plains, New York, and known as tax parcel number 132-600-7063-10-491576 in the HM zoning district and the Dover Principal Aquifer Overlay District, collectively known as the project site. And whereas a restaurant is a permitted use in the HM zoning district subject to site plan approval, and whereas the project is shown on a site plan entitled Site Plan Approval 3186 State Route 22, Town of Dover Plains, Dutchess County, New York 12522 by Joseph Fernandez Architect PC, last revised September 17, 2024, known as the site plan. And whereas the applicant has submitted a long-form environmental assessment form, or FEAF, dated September 3, 2024, pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, also known as SECRA, and whereas in accordance with SECRA, the planning board is required to determine the classification of the project, and whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR sections 617.4 and 617.5, an action that does not appear on the Type 1 and Type 2 list is unlisted, and whereas the planning board of the town of Dover has performed a preliminary review of the application materials, now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby, 1, classifies the project as an unlisted SECRA action, 2, declares its intention to serve as lead agency in a coordinated secret review and directs its secretary to circulate notice of its intent to all involved and interested agencies as soon as an updated,
As soon as
so as soon as, okay, that's where we're going,
Yeah.
okay. So as soon as,
the following
Here we go.
documents are submitted.
that's not what I wanted. As soon as following documents are submitted.
So then A,
I would say, actually, so as soon as the following documents are submitted to the satisfaction of the planning board attorney.
sure.
Because he might just submit anything. Not that you would. I'm
Someone's
just-
gotta look at it.
Someone could.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So, updated FEAF, updated lighting plan, letter, okay, I thought it was litter, letter from
An engineer.
engineer
Regarding
regarding ability to park
on
up the
existing
existing SDS
and
and updated site plan set depicting existing and proposed vegetation.
that good, Corey. You want me to put entries or, okay.
No, I think that's good.
Let's see.
Because it covers the trees and everything else.
Okay. And then 3, directs its secretary to refer the site plan to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development pursuant to Section 239-M of the General Municipal Law.
So,
Is there something else that needs to be changed here before we actually?
it's just a question, do you want to wait on the 239M as well and do them together? Or just send that out now? Because you would just put as soon as the following you just copy paste the same thing. As soon as the following documents are submitted.
Pursuant to section.
And just copy.
Provided all conditions of.
To A through D are met.
A through D. To A through D are met.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right, so then this resolution is offered by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by
Member Williams.
Member Williams. Okay, discussion. All right, so just want to make sure, first and foremost, it's clear to everyone on the planning board what we're doing here, right? We're, again, trying to move this forward through the process, but you have these 4 things to submit to the satisfaction of the planning board attorney. I guess I should put a colon here. And then it directs our secretary to send this to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, again, essentially when those 4 conditions are met. So, to the satisfaction of our planning board attorney.
It helps move it forward without waiting for another meeting.
Right. Yeah.
with the gap.
Because you might be able to submit all this a week from now, but then we have to wait till November, and then so.
Right. No, I appreciate that.
All right. So we're not going to set any public hearing now, because, we don't know what your time frame might be. We might set a public hearing for November 18th, and it turns out, well, we don't have anything in, nothing's, maybe there's one thing you can't give us yet, and so there's
Right.
no need for, not that there's no need for public hearing, it's just an incomplete record for the public hearing, so. Again, I would, you know, I would hope the way things go is that by November 18th, we could set a public hearing for the meeting in December, and, yeah. And then I would think, hopefully by then, we would have her back from Dutchess County Planning, and might not be much of an issue. Any members of the planning board have any comments, questions regarding this? Okay. Anything from our consultants? Forgetting anything? Okay. All right. So, resolution to classify the action and refer to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, 3186 Route 22 LLC. Secretary, please call the roll.
Member Williams?
Aye.
Member Roman?
Aye.
Member Palmer?
Aye.
Chairman Courtine?
Aye. Resolution adopted 4-0 with 3 absences. We hope you can get those things submitted as soon as possible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right. All right, so then, okay, our next meeting is October 21st, 2024. We have a public hearing for the race lot line change. No other public hearings,
Right.
correct? Okay. And then, what other submissions did we?
Starkdale?
Starkdale Farms, I've heard of it. Okay, and then was there anything, because now that 10 Mile River Preserve, Activity Barn, Sherman Hill Road, 2-family, those have their approvals, those aren't on the agenda for that meeting. anything else
I
that
have
we're-
it here, but it's for erosion and sediment
Right,
control.
that's right. The erosion sediment control for Harlem Valley Homestead?
Yes.
Okay. And then but we wouldn't have the erosion sediment control for
We could have it.
10 Mile
for-
River Preserve Activity Barn?
We granted it for, right, granted for Sherman, not for 10 Mile. If
Right.
he's ready for it, he can submit, but it's already.
Past the deadline.
Past the
That's what I'm saying, it would be in November. Right, okay. And they can't really get going anyway, because they still have
They're
the
not gonna
Department of Health approval and,
Yeah, they don't have health department approval, and it doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon, so,
sure, okay.
so there's no hurry.
All right, so we think it'll be public hearing, lot line race, the
Right?
race lot line adjustment.
Harlem
Harlem
Valley
Valley Homestead, erosion
Homestead,
sediment control, those two, and then,
3186, no.
I mean, I don't think he wouldn't be back for anything in 2 weeks. Yeah,
We already missed the deadline. He already missed the deadline.
right, this one, yeah, I mean, we expect that we'd probably see him again
Yeah.
November 18th. Okay. Okay, so those two things, and then
Starkdale.
Starkdale Farms. All right.
Potentially.
Potentially. Well, I mean, they were submitted by the deadline
But they submitted, so I think we
to
should.
us and the town board
Submitted to the town
and the
board.
planning board and town board of Pauling.
So I think we
Yes.
should have a discussion as to process and
Yeah.
who's going to start and where it's going to start.
Right. Okay. I will communicate with the town supervisor tomorrow.
That would be helpful.
That, I think, be the first step in the process.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anything, so we're either going to have a short meeting 2 weeks from now, or a long meeting 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Anything further before the planning board this evening? Okay, seeing nothing further, I'll make a motion to adjourn, seconded by Member Roman. All those in favor of adjournment say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned.